best of luck.
Keep changing, waiting. Keep changing, waiting.
Sunday school is a place for fools. It's hot in hell, but the devil's cool.
Don't keep changing, waiting. Don't keep changing, waiting.
So don't just sit there, join the club. Sell your soul to Beelzebub.
Hello everybody, it is I, Count Jackula, once again your favorite satanic streamer here for another satanic Count Jackula frickin' stream. The sin is in, everybody, the sin is in. Hey Richard Cranium, how you doing? Hope you're having a good time. I'm doing okay. Little jittery, as you can tell, there's a puppy in the background. Not mine, neighbors, but he's allowed to come in here and hang out, as long as he doesn't get on the bed or bother the cat. You know, them's the rules. If he starts bothering the cat, I just, take him outside and have to shut the door. Luckily that hasn't happened yet. So fingers crossed. As you can tell, I have redone my hair, which feels pretty good, although it's going to be a little bit of a bitch to maintain. Especially considering the fact that, like, the base of my dreads are a little loose. And I'm trying to figure out, like, how to make it not look like I got a bald spot. I don't. But, like, some of the dreads of, like, I used to have more than 4 dreads, and they've kind of undone. You know what I mean? Like some of them snapped off, But these are the ones that have lasted. And but they're I didn't do a very good job when I first, like, dreaded them all. So they catch and stretch hairs from, like, different parts of the scalp. I did a bad job. So a lot of the shorter hairs are just there to not just have exposed scalp. Because that would look wrong. That wouldn't look good. Oh boy. Yeah, so let's see. We got Richard Cranium with us. Hope we got some other people. That'd be nice. Let's see. It says 8 watching now, so we'll see who the 8 are. Oh man, exciting things happen in the world of Jackula. The manuscript for the game Babylon has been inching ever closer and closer to completion, and we're hitting a major milestone. We're probably going to hit a major milestone by the end of the week, which is all the classes, or we call them roles, all the roles may be completed. They may be finished. That'll be cool. And so we're on schedule for a late 2024 Kickstarter. Because we'll be going through edits as I develop the Kickstarter, as I get that ready for launch. There's work that has been done on the Kickstarter, but ain't ready for prime time, baby. Plus I gotta make a big plan for what to do during those 30 days, right? That's gonna be a big deal. If you can invest in silver coins, huh? What do you mean if I can invest in silver coins, man? Look, I know the economy is going to look pretty dire in the future, but there's never a good time to do anything. So, plus we are attempting to, like, make the game affordable. Like some of these game manuals have become, like, really prohibitively expensive. So we're trying to keep the costs down. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Oh. This is Massimo. This is the neighbor dog. Isn't he lovely? Isn't he cute? Yes, yes, yes. You're biting my finger. Mm-hmm. Rah. 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 Careful with that tooth. It's a little sharp. That's right, buddy. That's right. Mm-hmm. Oh, you with your eyes and your puppiness. Clearly out of the household, he likes Horror Guru the most. But no, no, no. You know. But then again, Guru's the big dog person. Like I'm more of a cat person. I like dogs, particularly good ones like this. This is a good boy. This is a good boy. You know? That's right. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. What's that? You want to tell me the secrets of the universe? It's woof. It's woof. The secret of life is woof. If you can, you should voice the silver coins, silver maple leaves. Uh, okay, man, I'll take that under consideration. Whatevs. I think Richard Cranium's fucking account got hacked or something because I'm not one for big financial advice. My financial advice is very simple, which is, hey, Joe Care, how you doing? Yeah, my financial advice is very simple. If you can, put about 30% into paying off your debts, 30% into savings. I don't mind investing in silver coins for the simple reason that if I get 30 of them, I can apparently kill a messiah. So, like that'll good. So I just need 30 of them, really. Oh, I dog in my lap now. Uh oh, well, this dog isn't big enough to be Mr. Pickles. You turned 34 this past week. I didn't know you were that young. I thought you were. I thought you were a little bit closer to 40 for some reason. It's just me. Well, yeah. Well, congratulations on 34, Joe Care. What's this? What's this? What's that, puppy? I got. You, puppy is licking my foot. They do that. Oh, you got a little knot in there. Oh, there it goes. There he goes. Oh, wait. What's this? What is this? Do you have is that a scar or pimple or just a little piece of fat in there? Yeah, probably just a little piece of fat. He got a little bump, but like it doesn't seem to be anything. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Somebody has a little injury right there. Yeah, he has a scab. Okay, yeah, it's a scab. This is my neighbor's dog. His name is Massimo. 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 Says so right on his collar that he's not letting me look at. Hey, Chrome Bison, what's up? he's got a little scab, so he's probably got a little, like, you know, pus-filled thing that's gonna go away. You know, Massimo the dog. Do you want to be a hellhound? Do you want to be a hellhound? Do you want to chase Robbie Johnson? Do you? You know, maybe torment fucking Alice Cooper in a really bad movie. That's largely just really odd Alice Cooper music videos, which makes it sound a lot better than it is. Monster Dog, people, like this movie called Monster Dog, in which fucking Alice Cooper turns out he is a werewolf that is part hellhound. If you're like I said, makes the movie sound a lot better than it is. It is one of those enjoyably bad movies, though. You know, it's just not quite as awesome as you would hope. Like, you're expecting, like, you know, with a premise like that, you're expecting, like, way more than the movie gives you. You know? Oh, it's Massimo. Massimo. Isn't that right? Oh, look at you. Oh, you just want company. You just want company. I have a feeling. Oh, I don't remember it. Well, let me put it this way. It's definitely a so bad it's good movie. I don't know if it's gooder. Like, I don't think it goes crazy enough. Like, I'd have to watch it again. Last time I watched it was like 5 years ago. And I don't remember it hitting the mark. I remember being glad I watched it again. You know, but it's not like, oh man, gotta see this one. You know, it ain't a Piranha 3D or a Howling 2. I'll put it that way. Yeah, not quite gooder. You know, worth an honorable mention just for the oddity of what it is. I think Cecil from Good Bad Flicks actually did a review of Monster Dog. Let me check. Good Bad Flicks Monster Dog. Da. Yep. Oh wait, no. Oh no, apparently he hasn't. He did Man's Best Friend, but apparently he didn't do Monster Dog. But a channel called Retro Movie Review did review Monster Dog a few months ago. Looks like a smaller channel called Mom and Pop Video Shop. Oh, that's a good name. Hey, Caleb H&B, how you doing? Is it good when drinking? You could make a drinking game out of it, but like I said, like the biggest problem with that movie is it's just not. There are a lot of Alice Cooper videos. There's like a good 15 minutes of that runtime that is just Alice Cooper having dream sequences, which are vaguely like disguised attempts to do music videos. Well, I mean, they are music videos, but it's just like clearly he has a dream sequence and then there's a music video and that pads out the runtime for the next like 5 minutes. But those videos aren't like what you would expect. Like, it's not like, oh, okay, he's going to go unconscious and then dream he's Alice Cooper and Alice Cooper's going to be like, you know, doing regular Alice Cooper shit. No, they're all videos like Alice Cooper dreams that he is a noir detective. Like, what? What? You know, like, okay. Hey, Zombie Nomad, welcome. New here, welcome. All are welcome. Joe Kerr says, dude, I recently learned about Earth versus the Spider. Oh man, like that's a classic. MST3K like did a classic episode on Earth versus the Spider. Zombie Nomad said I had lunch with Alex Cooper. He was really cool. Yeah, yeah, he seems like a really cool guy. Really nice guy, you know? Oh, oh, real puppy in my lap. I guess you just good dog. You are a good boy. No. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alice Cooper like has a dream sequence that is a music video where he's a noir detective. And you could tell the whole movie is like kind of an allegory for like his recovering from alcoholism. Philosopher, I had crow brain rot all month. Oh yeah, I saw the photos of you like doing goth makeup and shit. Was able to finally read the OG comic in its entirety. Yeah, it's good. It's good, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I gotta be honest. Like, with the Skarsgård, right? With the Skarsgård in the new movie and the way they're taking it, I just one of the things that really worked about the original movie was even though some of the plot had changed, it stayed true to that those urban decay roots. You know, we're just it like that whole place was intended to feel like Chicago, you know, in that movie. I don't know if in the original it was supposed to be Chicago. I think it was just supposed to be like any city USA, right? But like in the movie you could tell specifically they had been inspired by Chicago. Um or Detroit. And that gave the movie a lot of character. A lot of character that was consistent with the comic. This one, it looks like they're going for like there seem to be a lot of exotic rich locations in the new one, and I'm like, no, that's John Wick's thing, man. You know, that's John Wick's thing. That's not the Crow's thing. Like the Crow is supposed to feel like, you know, gothic industrial. You know, you can't really feel gothic industrial if you're like in a lush, palatial estate, even as the villain. Oh, Horger is talking about Monkey Man. Yeah, I'm interested in Monkey Man. Although I still need to see Late Night with the Devil. We did, however, see New Empire. Did that go up yet, Guru? The New Empire vlog? Yeah, no, wait, no. That's King Kong. King Kong versus Godzilla went up. I don't know if. Oh, it's uploaded today. The vlog's up. Yep. Okay, good. Yeah, go ahead and put a link in there. Oh, I love New Empire. I thought it was tons of fun. Oh, Frozen Empire. Yeah, that one looked like it was going to be like okay. Like probably like Ghostbusters Frozen Empire looked like it was going to be probably about as good as Afterlife. So if you liked Afterlife, you were going to get more of that, and if you didn't really care for it, it probably wasn't going to bring you in. Like that's one I could see streaming. I can wait for streaming on that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Late Night with the Devil is supposed to be on Shutter pretty soon. Yeah, we also saw it in the theater because we're like, come on, big screen. We didn't get to see because of COVID. We didn't get to see Kong versus. No, no, no. Was it? Did we see Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong in the theater? I can't remember. Yeah, from what I hear, it's like Afterlife, but more an overt comedy, which actually sounded pretty good. But I got other movies to watch for it. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like I don't mind. Godzilla versus King Kong was the nostalgia trip I was looking for at the moment. Not Ghostbusters. Yeah, I think we streamed it on HBO Max when it came out. Like I seem to remember that, so that one suffered a little bit because that was the one we didn't get to see on the big screen. Like almost all the other MonsterVerse movies we saw in the theater. That's the only one we didn't see in a theater. Yeah, and I think we've seen all the MonsterVerse movies together. So, including like the Monarch television show, which is also really good. The thing that's good about the MonsterVerse television show is like if you go in afraid you're not going to see Godzilla, don't worry. Godzilla he's not in every episode, but he shows up multiple times. And it's always like a big moment. He just doesn't like step on a city that he hasn't already stepped on by that point in the timeline. Like in the first episode, there is a redo of the Godzilla on the Golden Gate Bridge scene from a different perspective. But like it's that moment. Yeah, King of the Monsters. Yeah, I remember like yeah, I know we saw it together once, I think. Oh no, 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 no. King of the Monsters, I think I might have seen that only with Linda. It might have been me and the Countess, and then because you and Lizzie had seen it already, and then we saw it like the next day. Yeah, that was so cool. So fucking cool. Man, hard to believe that was. So we're watching like Godzilla 2014, the very first MonsterVerse, legendary MonsterVerse movie, and it was like, oh my god, that thing's 10 years old. That movie is 10 years old. Fuck. I'm like, that was the year. I think that was the year we joined Channel Awesome, I think. No, 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 no. Wait. No, we hadn't joined Channel Awesome. That would happen like a year and change later. Because I remember like we got there like around the time of the 2016 election. So yeah, we joined in 2016, but like we did a vlog with Tony Goldmark of the 2014 one, and of course we loved it. Like I loved it, and we watched it again yesterday because a friend of ours hadn't seen it, so we showed it to him. And I still love it. So good. Oh, I would be down for a Mothra movie. From a legendary Mothra movie, I would totally be down for it. The cat has gone outside, walked around me, and did not hiss at the dog. Yeah, he's just catting. Maybe his sense of smell is bad or something. I don't know. Like, he doesn't seem to worry about Massimo, about this puppy. He doesn't seem to worry about him that much. I don't know what it is. I hope it continues. Oh, we did join Channel Awesome in 2014? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, well, there's my memory. Okay, but when Jet Jaguar? Dude, my question exactly. Look, I know at one point they were talking about doing fucking a crossover with Pacific Rim, which probably ain't gonna happen, but that would be the time. Like, basically, go in, Gypsy Danger goes down, like, for the count, baby. And they gotta build a new Jaeger, and that Jaeger is Jet Jaguar. Like, Japan's gotta make its own Jaeger, because I don't think Japan had one in Pacific Rim, or at least I don't think we saw it. I know China did. But, like, that one's Jet Jaguar. And, like, he'll be, like, the first one that has, like, an artificial intelligence. Like, so he still needs, like, a pilot, but, like, the computer itself is the other brain that does the drift. That's how I'd do that shit. But I would really only wanted, like, the Del Toro got to make that movie because, well, nah, who am I kidding? I would see it anyway. But if Del Toro did it, I would be there like a motherfucker. Be there with bells on. The Wachowskis? I don't know, man. I don't know about the Wachowskis doing. Then again, Speed Racer. Okay, yeah, I could see it. Like, if they brought a bit of that Speed Racer back, but, like, made it look a little more realistic, you know? A kid and an AI, yeah, I think what you should do is you should use one of the kids that has already been, like, established. Like the kid from the first movie, or Millie Bobby Brown, or her hacker friend, you know, or even, like, the dude, he's not a kid, but, like, the conspiracy brother from, you know, who was in the last two movies. I'd love to see a Del Toro Monsterverse film. It'd be so cool. Hey, dude, we could bring back King Kong, bring back Giant Frankenstein, baby. You know, or Robocong, was it Mechanicong? You know, make a Mechanicong. you sleepy. Yeah, Singular Point actually was surprisingly good. It was weird. It did have like one of the problems that a lot of the Showa era and some of the Heisei era, like Godzilla movies, had, which is there is a lot of extended scientific technobabble in Singular Point. Like there's some episodes that are almost all exposition of how the physics are working. At least it felt that way. Man, Pacific Rim, dude. Like, people hated on that movie way too. That movie deserved way better than it got. For that matter, even the sequel I think is underappreciated. Although it's not as good as the first one, but it ain't bad. It's still like a good movie. I wouldn't even say that it was as significant a dip. Like, you got Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, right? And even if you like Ghostbusters 2, which I do, you're like, hey, yeah, it's not nearly as good as the original. Pacific Rim 2 is actually way closer in quality to the original Pacific Rim than people give it credit for. Yeah, Pacific Rim got a ton of hate. A lot of the anime community hated that movie. Like, I loved it because I was like, yeah, anime, Gundam, but Gundam and Voltron, but live action, baby. On the big screen, modern CGI, let's do it. Oh, I haven't seen Netflix's Pluto, but I know about it. Guru saw Pluto, but I didn't. Yeah, they were likening it to Gundam Wing, and I kind of saw that, but I was surprised nobody saw all the other big mech like homages. Like the blazing sword. Oh, it's okay, puppy. You can't just pull that out of me. Fuck you. Got to build up to it, Yeah, I know. I probably really got to watch Pluto. Because I didn't realize it was like a gritty retelling of an Astro Boy story. Yeah, nobody noticed the Pat Labor or or like the Voltron, And now with New Empire, you have the perfect way of bringing Godzilla and the Pacific Rim universe together. Come on, Pacific Rim and fucking Godzilla got to come together and fight Gigan. Come on, be awesome. Yeah, people were comparing it to Evangelion. That was weird because I'm like, if of all the mechs, with the exception of Escaflowne, that's the one that it's the least like. Like Gundam, I saw. the military aspect, the fact that the robots were considerably more humanoid, like fucking OG Gundam I saw. Especially with like the drifting, because like remember in Gundam, the original Gundam. Yeah. Yeah. You can go. In the original Gundam, the new types, they had to have like a special psychic power that allowed them to control the robot properly. So I was like, yeah, that's part of the homage to Gundam, the original Gundam anyway, Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, they come together and using the Pacific Rim like fucking technology to create Jet Jaguar, you know. Oh, I haven't seen the picture of Del Toro at the Gundam Museum. I haven't. But like I knew that was an influence because he fucking told everybody. He fucking told everybody about that. He didn't hide it, but yeah, the Evangelion comparison was weird because I was like, that really, no. It kind of fucking, the comparison between fucking Pacific Rim and not Escaflowne, Evangelion kind of begins and ends with Giant Robot. Yeah. Yeah, Pacific. Yeah, it is a little closer to. It is way closer to Gunbuster than Evangelion because Gunbuster is way closer to fucking Gundam. Yeah. Giant robots and monsters appearing out of nowhere. That's about it, But like none of the Gnosticism is there. None of the. There we go. Bye bye, Mosimo. Doggy, go home. None of the Gnosticism was there. None of the philosophy was there. So I'm like, it's mechs and Gnostic philosophy that, Jungian psychology and Gnostic philosophy that makes Evangelion. The walking embodiment of the feminine principle did not become huge and die at the end. Like it just didn't. Oh no, Falsifer, that's where you're wrong. Evangelion is not Freudian, it's Jungian. It's very Jungian, not Freudian at all. Yeah?
Make sure the cat door is open because it's going to rain again.
Yeah, I did.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no, apparently it's closed. So you're right. Yeah, cat is outside. Yeah, but actually, Falsifer, now that you mention it, yeah, the one aspect of actually, now that you mention it, you're right. There is a lot of Freud because there is a lot of like conflict with the father, the Oedipal complex, and things like that. So yeah, no, I stand corrected. You're right. But there's also there's way more Jungian influence. Like the AT field, like that's Jungian psychology, the absolute terror field. Abrahamic eschatology, yeah. But specifically in through the lens of Gnosticism. It's specifically through the lens of Gnosticism, and like the tree of wisdom, the tree of life, and all that jazz. Shinji is neurotic, Asuka is hysteric, and Rei is psychotic. I don't know if I would agree with Rei being psychotic. The other two I definitely see, but I don't know. Huh. Maybe. The one thing I do definitely know is that Rei is the feminine principle. She is Sophia. Huh. I'll have to watch it again. There may also be a difference between like the Evangelion show and End of Evangelion. Like I know the End of Evangelion is that thing is it's super Gnostic and super Jungian. Like the show might be more Freudian. Ray rejects reality. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Um, my interpretation was that my interpretation is that she is rejected, not that she rejects reality. Please, I love how the rebel tells the viewer, please touch grass. Yeah. Like, I'll be honest. I really am. I really prefer the end of the show. You know, because it really does feel like that's what they were building towards, you know? Yeah, I'm not sure with Ray rejecting reality so much as she's this like otherworldly principle. You know, that that's why she grows huge at the end and the orange tang is like everyone returning to the pleroma. You know, the big fullness of everything with no individuation, you know. She moves through reality without actually being a part of it. Huh. I'll have to watch it again. I'll have to watch it again. But because that was not my interpretation. You may be right though. Yeah, there may be an aspect of that that I missed. You know, because one of the things about like one of the problems I have with Freudian analysis is that it doesn't meet dreams where they live. Whereas Jungian analysis attempts to do so. Based on a detachment from reality. Maybe. It gets confusing in a world like that because so much of what she does interact with is real in that universe. So yeah. Freud always explained dreams way too clinically, and I'm like, that's not how it works. That's not how dreams work, man. They're too slippery for that. They're too slippy for that. You know, because a dream imagery will always exists at the it exists at the intersection of the individual and the larger cultural context. Like that's how its symbols work. It always has to do with both the individual and the cultural icons and symbols that one has being within a culture, with the ones that you're brought up with being strongest. Usually. Uh, I think with the non-neurotypical, that probably changes a bit. Caleb says they need to read up on Freud and Jung again. Yeah. They're very interesting. Their concepts are very interesting. But yeah, it is important to realize that like Freud is very clinical, and he was also more prone to the pressures of the psychiatric culture that he was a part of. Jung largely remained unconvinced. He wasn't, his tendency was not to cave into the political pressure of the industry is the wrong word, but like Freud had a lot of opinions that he changed because of pressure from other people in the study. Like particularly his analysis of women was very, 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 very politically affected. To the point where he actually like went back on conclusions that he made that seemed to be more in line with the truth, because the field refused to consider, how important women were. Whereas Jung did not do that. He always considered women to be very important. He always considered the feminine, specifically the feminine. What we considered feminine, he considered it to be of primal importance. He considered it to be something that every masculine person should be in touch with. Which is why when I see people like Peterson and like his acolytes talk about Jungian psychology and philosophy, I'm like, it's clear they have no idea what they're talking about. Because they never talk about the importance of the masculine meeting the feminine, which is one of the things that Jung was super about. Like, I don't know how you miss that. He spells it out a lot. Like, he fucking just comes out and says it. He comes out and says that shit. And not just like once or twice. It's a through line throughout it's one of the through lines of his whole fucking philosophy of psychoanalysis. You know, that the masculine must connect with its feminine counterpart. It must. Because that's what's been stripped away from the masculine. You know, they basically get to the point, you have this surface reading where it's like you have the separation between the masculine and the feminine, and then they say, oh, well, that's a good thing, right? And Jung is like, no, that's not a good thing. That's just what happens. Masculinity is specifically males stripped away from their feminine what we consider their feminine aspect. And the reason he sticks with that symbolism is because it seems to be the thing that always applies when we're talking about masculinity versus femininity. What is masculinity? It is whatever is left after you strip away femininity. He doesn't talk too much about the reverse, but he does touch on it. He does talk about it. You know, like Jung's opinion on how that relates to women is it clearly does, but in the opposite direction, but he doesn't understand it very well because he's male. You know, he's cis male and doesn't have as many insights into that particular journey, into that particular like issue. He only has an outsider's. He can only observe it from the outside. Whereas the masculine needing to connect with the feminine is something he understood from the inside out. Let's see. Of course, because they only care about the masculine side, Peterson is a hack. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Kat. Yeah, Peterson's a hack. He only cares about the masculine side. That's terrible. That is fundamentally missing the point. That is fundamentally missing Jung's point. You know, because everyone talks about like shadow work and blah, 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 blah. But what's the shadow of the masculine? Because the shadow is not necessarily evil. It's what you hide from others. And what do masculine people hide more than anything else? The feminine. So that becomes part of the shadow, but the psychological concept of the shadow. It becomes your shadow precisely because you have distance. You're trying to distance yourself from it. For whatever reason. I don't know if the shadow is the truest self. It is true. It's very true. But I don't know if one truth is more truthy than another. I don't know if one truth is truthier than another, but like, ultimately, shadow work is about the acceptance of you as a whole person. That's ultimately what it's about. It's about that integration. Because here's the thing, the shadow is actually quite powerful. It's very powerful. It reaches into this primal part of you that is very powerful. Psychologically speaking, it's extremely powerful. Yeah, embrace the shadow to know yourself. Yeah. That's a big deal in Freud. You know, you're not supposed to do everything the shadow wants, but you can't give it nothing. You can't just deny it. It'll bite you like a wild animal. The more you deny your dark side, the more it'll turn on you. That's why shadow work is all about acceptance of it. That's the idea. That's the basic idea. And once you've done that, you can actually see how it affects other people and society at large. In that context, it makes perfect sense why a society that prides itself on individual freedom would have slavery. That's the shadow. Slavery is the shadow of individual liberty. But we have to come to accept that paradox. Otherwise, we're just denying it. Remember what I said, the more you deny it, the more it'll bite you. And in American culture, that biting is the fear of a black planet. It's the fear of a black planet. It is the intentional cruelty. That's the shadow biting you. Because as I've said many fucking times, if in particular, this is particularly true of the South of the United States, the southern United States. If they've been able to more successfully reintegrate the former slaves into the culture proper, the economic problems they're having right now would not exist. They would not exist. But they couldn't let go of it. Now it's biting them, and it's biting them in the ass. And less than a century later. It don't take long. It don't take long for that shit to start biting you in the ass. In fact, it'll start doing it as quickly as possible. Yeah, let's see. Cat Hermit says, the shadow self is your hidden desires and wants. Yeah, that is a big part of it. That is a big part of it. The integration of something like slavery on a cultural level is the acceptance of, yeah, you do want people to just do shit for you because you said so. Right? You did do that. You did it. It's there. They fucking did it. Can't say it didn't happen or now everything is just hunky-dory. No, it's not. It will take multiple generations of specifically attempting to deal with that. And that is what they cannot handle, because to do that requires an amount of intellectual honesty, imagination, and self-acceptance that the South in America has been stripped of because of its holding on to an idea of America that is not real. It's not real. They're holding on to fantasies of power and privilege that they do not have, nor can they hold on to. Why do you think fascism always falls apart? It always falls apart because it's not based on anything real. You can't get in an argument with reality. It will win. It wins. Reality wins. That's why it's reality. You can't argue with it. Yeah, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. You caught that. Yes. You know, the thing about like feminine and masculine traits is the only thing that is consistent about them is that they are in opposition to each other. Or rather that there is an opposition. That they are points on a spectrum. That's it. That's the only thing that's consistent about what we consider masculine, what we consider feminine. Everything else just kind of like, it changes. You know. And yeah, and because like even the biological definitions of male and female, that's not in really what we're talking about when we say masculine and feminine. It's related. It's related, but it's not the thing itself. They're certainly related on what's expected of people with those genitals, but like they're not true. Even those expectations are not true of everyone biologically. You know, they're not even absolutely true biologically. There is a little bit of wiggle room. There is wiggle room there. You know, but masculine and feminine, while influenced by biology, is largely about societal expectation. That's the bigger thing. I don't like it when people say that they're completely unrelated because they are related. It's just that's not usually the part that we're talking about when we say masculine and feminine versus like penis and vagina. You know, when we talk about gender, we're usually talking about the societal expectations part. You know, is it related to your genitalia? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it's related. But it's not the final word. And it's not the one we're arguing about. You know, for example, the trans debate. What's it all about? Bathrooms. What bathroom do they belong in? Not like how do they pee. We're not arguing about which way they should pee. We're arguing about what bathroom they should be, which is a societal thing. It gets really confusing in some of these stupid ass arguments. Jordan misappropriates other people's work to push his agenda of Western imperialism. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Does the masculine hide the feminine to not show their weakness? The masculine is tricked into denying the feminine because it is defined as weakness. That is the problem of having a hierarchical relationship with gender, which Western society has in abundance. Western society has that in absolute abundance. The irony being that, when we're talking about Western civilization, we're really only talking about the last couple thousand years. We're not really, we're kind of talking about roughly the time the Gregorian calendar kind of starts. That changeover between BC and AD. Because when we think of Western civilization, we usually think of like Europe and Western Europe for that matter, which until the Roman conquest had an extremely different understanding of those concepts. Extremely different. In many ways, the hierarchical relationship between men and women that is so typical of Western civilization was there because of Roman Greece. Is killing male or female? It's both. It's both. Clearly, it's both. BRSSL, I'm sorry, as I noticed a while ago, says thank you. Fan of the trick or treat vid. I love that. I love that one too. I love doing that one, and I think it's probably my best one. It's definitely my favorite. And Lords of Salem. Wait. I did Lords of Salem. I didn't. I remember we did a Friday Night Fright Flick on Lords of Salem. I don't know. We didn't do like a full episode though. Like, and that video was pretty short, because that was it was a Friday Night Fright Flick. Sometimes I wonder if Young were alive today, would he be a trans ally? Could go either way. I think he definitely would have he has the potential to be. I think it's something that would interest him. I don't know where he would ultimately fall socially, though. But given his history, I think it's more likely that he would be a trans ally than anything else. I don't think he would think that they were less human. Freud definitely would have been a transmedicalist, if anything. Or actually, no, he probably would have considered it a delusion. That'd be my take on Freud, is that he would think it was a delusion. Or a neurosis. Yeah, society that loves freedom hates the freedom of others. Yep. Yeah, touching back on the whole, like, if you have a society whose whole thing is like, individual freedom, then slavery is its shadow. So it makes sense that it would, on that level, psychological level, it would make sense that would be the case. How many Black economic HUDs were actively destroyed from Reconstruction to now? Oh, a lot. All of them? In many ways, all of them. And look what happened to all those areas. Look where all those areas are economically now. They're in ruin. They are in ruin because they literally ruined them. They literally ruined it. The freedom of the former African slaves should have been a economic boon to the South, but instead they destroyed it. They destroyed their own prosperity with that shit. Tulsa Massacre, perfect example. Perfect example. Everything was working. Everything was going well. Everything was going in the right direction. Now we got to destroy it because we can't let black people have money. Hey, Jack, if you could bring one pulp hero to the big screen, who would I pick? Oh, none of them. None of them. I think pulp is best left done. Because everything that came out of pulp, I think that is worth keeping, has become something else. You know, I think if you were never going to get a better, like, you know, pulp era, at least in the way nerds define it, pulp era movie than The Rocketeer. The Rocketeer, and that's it. That's as good as it gets. You know, the problem with something like The Shadow is you can't take it out of that time period. Same thing with The Spirit. And these are The Spirit in particular is a character I like a lot. I like The Shadow too, but you can't really separate him. You can't separate him from that time period because there has to be an opium war. You know, it's like kind of the same thing for like the Phantom. You know, the guy in the purple suit in the jungle. You know, yeah, pulp. That type of pulp does not translate. Because pulp was really a catch-all for a bunch of different genres. Like, for example, like noir. Noir was pulp. Noir was pulp for a long time. Superheroes were pulp for a long time. Lovecraft was pulp. Horror was pulp. You know. So what we're left with is the stuff that The Rocketeer was based on. And that's actually really limited. That's actually really limiting. You know, because that's like trying to create an entire genre that is just based on Superman. And I mean just. Whereas all the things that were kind of Superman-like about pulp, because he was pulp as well, just comic book pulp, became superheroes. You know, it became superheroes. You know, it became science fiction. Science fiction used to be pulp. You know, so like that whole thing has been mined out. I think it's the mine is empty. That well is empty. Because all you've got left is some of the storytelling styles And those largely suck. You know, like there was in TTRPGs, there was this big push a while back to bring back the idea of the pulp genres. And I'm like, no, that's not, no, don't do that. Like you could do noir, you could do, superhero, you could do science, but pulp, meaning all that remains that isn't another genre already. No, you can't do it. No, you just can't. It's too limiting. It's way too limiting. It's not expansive enough. It's not even expansive as expansive as, in my opinion, as Tolkien-based fantasy. Like you can take the core of Tolkien-based of Tolkien fantasy and expand that into a dozen worlds. Pulp, not so much. What remains of pulp, not so much. That's an issue. Let's see. The idea of homosexuality didn't exist. Romans only who was on top, which would make yeah. Different definitions of things. Do. What would be Carl Jung's diagnosis of Adolf Hitler be? Self-loathing narcissist. Yeah, probably. I actually don't know what his analysis of Adolf Hitler was. Like he was there during that period of time. He probably did have his own analysis based on what he had seen. Johnny Too Dangerous. You mean so other folks will hold a grudge instead of getting things going good? Never. Yeah, sarcasm was over 9,000. John Carter of Mars. Yeah, like there is an aspect of John Carter of Mars that you cannot bring, that a modern audience won't sit well with a modern audience. Which is the hot space princess. Hot space babes. Without her being a complete male gaze fantasy, John Carpenter of everything about John Carpenter of Mars that is worth doing has been done better by something that came later. Hell, where do you think like Kirk screwing all the space babes came from? That came from John Carter. That came from John Carter of Mars. I wouldn't say that pulp has been assimilated into other genres. I would say other that's what they became. That's what it became. They split off and became their own things. What about the Dick Tracy movie? Well, Dick Tracy movie is bad. Like, yeah, the best parts of The Shadow got adopted by Batman. Yeah, their story's tied to an era and they can't really leave there. Hey Jack, his question for you was old comics obsessed. Why were old comics obsessed with spanking? You mean like physical spanking like that? People back then had kinks. They had kinks too. And that was the one they were allowed to explore because they could hide it. I mean, eh. Pre sci-fi Flash Gordon, another good example. Makes zero sense. Well, that's G Lady. Yeah. Is steampunk a case from pulp as its own thing? Kind of, yeah. Like to me, the big problem was the issue with steampunk kind of comes down to this: without cyberpunk coming before it, steampunk makes no sense. You know, we definitely wouldn't have called it steampunk. They're still making Lovecraftian movies this day and still can't do it right? Oh, I disagree. I think there have been several great fucking Lovecraftian movies, you know, that hit upon the horror. You know, just picking out some of the post 2000 ones, we've got Dagon, we have Richard Stanley's Color Out of Space, there is The Empty Man. Those are all really good, in my opinion. Yeah. I just see. Aspiring Devil says, I think most people, when they say, they're probably thinking of the earnestness of the pulp era. Yeah. There's definitely that, but like, therein kind of lies the problem. It's all surface. The minute you get any deeper, it isn't pulp anymore. You know, it doesn't have that feeling anymore that we associate with pulp. And that's the issue. You can't go deeper or lose, or it becomes something else. You can trace how superheroes went from pulp to its own thing with Blue Beetle. Yeah. He's a good barometer. But you can also do Batman. You think the Dick Tracy movie is a charming bad? Oh, it has it has things about it which are entertaining. The Void, yeah, that is. Yeah, because I was just thinking of like movie adaptations of like Lovecraft stories. But yeah, the Void is very Lovecraftian. In the Mouth of Madness is another good one. Reanimator and The Beyond are also really good. As well as From Beyond. Yeah, I think no, there are a lot. There is always going to be good and bad Lovecraft movies, but there are a lot of good ones. You know, there are a lot of good ones. Yeah, but like one of my problems with steampunk is I'm like, if you're gonna you call it punk, then it has to be punk. You know, like steampunk stories are almost never about lower class people. You know, they're never about people in the lower classes. They're always about like people who are educated. I remember The Resurrected. Yeah, that movie's great. That is like absolute. That is a direct adaptation of The Strange Case of Charles Dexter Ward, and it is super. It's really good, and it's super faithful to it. Like right down to the main character. I think the main character is Randolph Carter, right? Yeah, the case of it's just the case of Charles Dexter Ward. Okay. Yeah, the Resurrected. Oh no, the detective in the Resurrected is John March. And it's got Chris Sarandon as Charles Dexter Ward. You know, it's a really good movie. I have it on Blu-ray, actually. Good stuff. Yeah, written and directed by Dan O'Bannon, I believe. Yep. Written by Brent V. Freeman and directed by Dan O'Bannon, the director of Return of the Living Dead. Oh, yeah. Oof. Yeah, yeah, as far as the Taiwan earthquake, yeah, I don't know. You know, now my most of my relatives live in Taipei. Uh, not Hualien. So probably okay. You know, probably okay. Oof, yeah, very scary. Yeah, like, well, a lot of my problems with steampunk has to do with its very romanticized version of class struggle. Where I was like, dude, if you're going to call it punk, you probably shouldn't romanticize the class struggle. You know, like, and to be honest, like, I always thought steampunk was more of an aesthetic than it was a genre. Because like to me, steampunk was just like it's science fiction, but that feels old timey. You know, yeah, I like the idea of steampunk, but it was like no one ever really. I never felt like anyone took it where it needed to go. Never, nobody ever took it all the way. You know, like because when you think about it, like what would be the central struggle of steampunk? And it would be the crumbling of the remnants of empire and the rise of industrialism. That to me is what steampunk should really be about. It's the falling of empire and the rise of industrialism. You know, ever heard of solar punk, a new movement about saving the earth? I've heard of it. It My thoughts on solar punk is that it's just really not me. Like I'm like, nah, it's too pastoral. It's too pastoral for me. I it's hard for me to imagine what those stories as a genre are like. What solar punk stories as a genre would be like. Um because it sounds like to me it's just utopianism with solar panels. You know, like that's what it is to me. Once again, like solar punk, like steampunk is more of an aesthetic in my mind than a genre. It's a little bit more. It's a little more pure escapism than I trust. Same thing for steampunk. Yeah. I'm sure they want to be more hopeful, and I think that there is value in that. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just not my thing. Because to me, for me in fiction, hope has to be earned. And how do you earn hope? By going through shit. You know. So yeah, my problem with solar punk is essentially the same problem I have with steampunk, which is I find it to be mainly an aesthetic difference, not a genre difference. Um, it it's a setting you could use to tell different types of stories, definitely, but like it doesn't jive with me, and I have yet to see to really enjoy like one of the tales that it has told. Um, like I've started so many steampunk novels, and I get so bored. I get so bored. Like, I love the idea. I love the idea, but like the novels that I've read are so boring. Like one that everyone fucking told me to read were like the books of China Mayville. I can't stand his writing. I can't stand Perdido Street Station. I can't stand China Mayville. I cannot stand his writing. It's like, hi, do you want to listen to like the most intellectually insufferable people fucking have an argument for 20 pages? Because that's what China Mayville will give you. That's what his writing is. That, like, literally, that is always a part of his books. And oh my fucking God, like, I was like, this is what you're gonna base your books off of? Like the long exposition sequences in 50s B movies? Like, because that's a majority of his novels. I fucking hate them. Like they're paced about the same way too. And I need MST3K to get me through like some of those old 50s B movies. I need the rest of the audience. Like I try to watch them on my own. I'm just so fucking bored. Because we're not talking about ones that are like, like Godzilla or Frankenstein or any of those. Like those are entertaining. Those are entertaining, and they're engaging, and then they're saying shit. Imagine Earth versus the Spider. Imagine all the exposition scenes in Earth versus the Spider and making that the backbone of the fucking novel. Oh, sorry. Everyone I knew just loved China Mayville's writing, and I found it to be completely insufferable. Insufferable and self-important. To the point where I was like, some of the most pretentious writing I've ever read. For the love of fuck. And he was his writing was so full of like strident male feminism that I knew he raped people. I knew he was like an abuser. He had to be. He talked about this too much. I think the lady doth protest too much kind of shit. So when there was a bunch of people talking about like, oh yeah, it turns out China Mayville, big predator and abuser, I was like, no shit. Oh, but he was such a strident feminist. I was like, yeah. A strident feminist that looks like a meathead. Think about it. Because like I said, he just talked about it too much. Oh yeah, sometimes you could tell a man through his writing. Oh yeah, like no. I'm like, no, here's what I could tell about China Mayville through his writing is he's a raging narcissist. Raging narcissist. And a narcissist does not talk a lot about things unless they have done them. Yeah, those B movies can be fun, but like they're not fun. They're not fun because of their most boring parts. Like them is fun because it's giant ants, like that's yeah. Why does the UK let so many raging narcissists get big? Same reason America does it. Colonizer cultures. Cultures that engage in colonialism produce more narcissists or promote more narcissists, narcissists more heavily. That's why it happens in the UK. That's why it happens in America. It's not that narcissists don't exist in other cultures. They absolutely do. But in colonizer cultures, it's seen as a strength, not a weakness. What can I tell about Frank L. Baum? He loved Los Angeles. He loved LA and saw it for all of its faults and all of its grandeur. Because that's the land of Oz. The land of Oz is Los Angeles. The Emerald City is Tinseltown. The poppy fields was drug addiction. He saw it as a place where people could discover themselves, but could just as easily get lost in the illusion. The witch that steals the heads and the faces of other young women. The Wicked Witch is the old provincial ways of seeing things. I've never been to the Hotel del Coronado, but I know of it. I know of it. And yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah. The Emerald City was inspired by shit like that. Big time. For some reason, a British narcissist annoys me for different reasons than a American narcissist. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, because like in the UK, there's a classist aspect to it. That America doesn't have as much. America has it's got racism and it's got a sort of classism, but it's not as codified as in the UK. Like they still got royalty and a House of Lords and shit like that. We don't really have that. However, what we do have is business people, CEOs, financiers. That's what America's got. That they take up that space, but that's not as strictly classist as Britain. Like you can't be a successful like financier slash CEO if you are broke. Whereas you can still be part of the upper class in the UK if you are technically broke. Oh, they're making a Souls-like game based on The Wizard of Oz. That sounds cool. That sounds cool. Might play that. I wanted to play Lies of P, but like, I just didn't. Too many games, man. Too many games. Speaking of which, By the way, was that Half-Life 3 fucking announcement an April Fool's thing? You know, was that a fucking hoax or yeah, let's see. You should pay Liza P. It's pretty good. Um, I know Half-Life 3 ain't happening. Yeah, look, I I don't know. I was seeing shit on TikTok, but I realized I wasn't sure if it was an April Fool's thing or not. If so, it fooled me. You know, I know that they're gonna make. I'm looking forward to the next like MonsterVerse movie because they're almost certainly gonna do one because New Empire did so well. Oh man, yeah. I mean, I still gotta play. I still gotta play Phantom Liberty. You know, like I've been playing. Like I have to play Cyberpunk back up to the point where I could do the Phantom Liberty stuff. You know, and that's been taking a while because I played the shit out of that game so much. Like all the content is now like kind of done with. You know what I mean? Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming down. It's starting to feel like about time I should like sign off for the moment. You know, sign off for now. Do got to get back to the Babylon stuff if that's going to get done. And I want to get the progression structure, all the progression structures in place by tomorrow. So I think it is about time for me to say, hey, I want to thank you all for fucking coming down. It was great talking to you. I think we had a pretty fun time together. Had a good conversation, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Hit the like button, thumbs up. You know, and I'll see you all next time. In the meantime, if you feel like donating to the stream, uh, we got that Patreon link. You know, please feel free to donate to that. I should probably update the whole like page to be more representative of what I am doing these days, but like, you know, uh So until next time. Wait. Shit, never mind May 1st. What? What's May 1st? I don't know what May 1st is. I'll give Lilith a minute to explain the May 1st thing. But yeah, I want to thank y'all for fucking coming down, spending some time with me. It's always a good time. Oh yeah, by the way, announcement, like John. Oh, May 1st when Godzilla Minus One comes out on Blu-ray. Ooh, good times. Good times. John, our friend John the Joker has moved to I believe it's the Ann Arbor, Michigan area. He has officially left Tennessee. He's settling in nicely. Hopefully we'll be able to get him on the stream sometime soon. For that matter, like I also am going to miss, we got to get Yogi back on here sometime, but we haven't been able to make that happen. All right, but we will sometime soon. And until next time, Ave Satanas, Disco Inferno, and remember, Satan and I love you all very much. Until next time.